Manhattan. He rejoins us on the KTSA Connecticut Quality Water Softeners Newsmaker line. And Mike Davis, you've got basically slicing and dicing one accusation into 34 counts without the revelation of what the actual crime is, without the revelation of who was defrauded or who was the victim. Do you have the sense that we are going to get more meat on these bones, or do you think this is it?
Well, I mean, this is what's so bad about this indictment is it's actually worse than what was reported in the grand jury leaks, the illegal grand jury leaks from Alvin Bragg's office. And so it's just really embarrassing for Alvin Bragg that he is indicting a former president for the first time in history, an announced presidential candidate. You would think that you would have your I's dotted, your T's crossed, and you would have a very solid case. And this case is a joke. It's a bad joke, and it's stunning to me that Alvin Bragg would do this. He went to Harvard. He went to Harvard Law School. The guy you would think would be smart. You listen to his press conference, and he's clearly not. He didn't have answers, and he actually bragged, no pun intended, at his press conference. He didn't have to include the legal allegations in the indictment. And I'm thinking that is just insane that we have the due process clause in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution where defendants need to be on notice. They have to have fair notice of what the allegations are against them so they can defend themselves. So even if somehow that's New York law that you don't have to include the legal allegations in an indictment, I don't know how that doesn't violate the U.S. Constitution. But separate from that, it just shows Alvin Bragg's very bad judgment that even if he didn't have to, why would he not? Just because this is such an unprecedented case, why wouldn't you want to put the best case you possibly have? And maybe your point is right, is they don't have anything.
How do you get around the fact that the Federal Election Commission itself, the people that you would think would be most on the hunt for violations have looked at these facts and have not found a campaign violation or reporting violation of any kind, to quote an FEC commissioner?
Yeah, it's even worse than that. It was the Manhattan DA's office at Alvin Bragg's urging when he was in the New York Attorney General's office, rejected or pushed to decline charges. The U.S. Attorney in Manhattan declined charges. The Federal Election Commission, as you said, declined charges. Brad Smith, the former commissioner, as you said, wrote a Wall Street Journal opinion piece saying how absurd this legal theory is. Bragg even declined to move forward with this absurd legal theory. He declined charges. And he says somehow he got more facts. That's unclear. Really, the only fact that changed that I can see is back in December, after Alvin Bragg was taking tremendous heat from the left, after a couple of his prosecutors unethically resigned and went out and wrote books and did a media tour demanding charges against Trump, you saw Alvin Bragg hire a top Biden Justice Department official, Matthew Colangelo. And Matthew Colangelo was in the number 3 office at the Justice Department, the Associate Attorney General's office. Colangelo came in on the parachute team for the Biden administration. At the beginning of the Biden administration, he was the acting Associate Attorney General, the acting number 3. And then when Vanita Gupta, a hardcore radical leftist, became the Associate Attorney General, I opposed to Vanita on confirmations when I worked on the Senate Judiciary Committee for then Chairman Chuck Grassley confirming judges. Vanita was a radical then, she's a radical now, because Matthew Colangelo was her number 2. And he was an attorney for 7 years for the NAACP before he joined the Obama administration. He worked in the Eric Holder Justice Department for then Civil Rights head Tom Perez. Tom Perez went to be the labor secretary. Colangelo followed him to the Department of Labor, where Colangelo served as Perez's chief of staff or top aide. Perez went to the Democratic National Committee as the chairman. and Colangelo went to the Obama White House as a top economic advisor, all these political appointments, and then Colangelo went to the New York AG's office as a political appointee. They created a position there, the Democrat AG did, and his job was essentially to get Trump. He ran dozens and dozens of lawsuits and investigations against Trump, the Trump administration, Trump businesses, Trump finances. It was all about getting Trump, and then he went to work for the Biden Justice Department, and he was part of the team giving amnesty to abortion radicals, paid activists.
So you're saying he is the one that has influenced Bragg to go against his own prior judgment on this?
It seems like it. It seems like it because that's the only fact that I can see that has changed from these, that at best we're looking at, let's look at this case at best in the light most favorable to the prosecution, that back in 2005 or 2006, Trump had some sort of an affair with stripper porn star Stormy Daniels. In 2016, Trump paid her $130,000 to make her go away. They paid it through his attorney. They put it in the books the wrong way. At best, this would be this is a routine settlement of a nuisance claim that happens all the time. But if you want to turn this into a crime, at best, this is a misdemeanor under New York law for putting this in the wrong books. And Alvin Bragg is going to transform this into a felony somehow by saying that this bookkeeping misdemeanor was in furtherance of another crime or vice versa. But he won't say what that other crime is. And that is insane. And this is part of a pattern by Democrats for the last 6 years, 7 years. It's lawfare by Democrats to get Trump. I get that Trump is not the most warm and fuzzy guy. He's not going to be canonized as a saint. But these are bogus charges against him, and it's part of a pattern of bogus charges.
Mike Davis at the Article 3 Project. Mike, thank you very much. Always good to have you. Appreciate your coming on with us today.